topic.
Okay. This is interesting. You had this on our headline list here. These three guys we've talked about extensively, Trevor Bauer, Matt Araiza, and Colin Kaepernick, a lot of similarities yet differences.
How do you judge players? It's a huge issue, and the reaction to what players do. Let's just start with Trevor Bauer, the disgraced Dodger, Indian, Reds pitcher. He's now been sued by a fourth woman from Arizona for, quote, rough sex. She's charged that he raped her, choked her, threatened her with a knife, got her pregnant, and then paid $8,000 so she could have an abortion.
Oh my God.
So,
all right.
Trevor Bauer is now involved. Same set of circumstances with a woman in Scottsdale, woman in San Diego, one back in Cleveland, one in Columbus. Just never, ever ends. He's denied it. He's filed a countersuit against her. He's gone public and said, woman came to me and said she was pregnant. She wanted $1.6 million. I said, absolutely not. And he said, I will pay child support if you wish, or if you want to terminate, I'll pay for that. And all of a sudden, this lawsuit shows up. Guy's got an alternate lifestyle. I think the guy's toxic. I think he's self-destructed. I don't think anybody's going to touch him ever again because this junk just keeps happening. So that's player one. Player two is very different. Matt Araiza has been snubbed in the National Football League. The National Football League, which historically is all about second chances. You beat your wife, you get suspended, but you can get reinstated. You do steroids, you can get suspended. You could be reinstated. You do cocaine and other things, yeah, you get suspended, but you might get reinstated. Drunk driving, same scenario. A lot of second chance players in the league. Matt Araiza did something stupid. Consensual sex with an underage girl that he thought was 18. Stupid decision. Should not keep him out of the National Football League. Now, he's getting sued.
Mm-hmm.
That's a civil thing, and that'll take place in court. Never, ever charged. Now, Bauer was never, ever charged, but in the court of public opinion, because it's happened 4 different times with 4 different women, that's a bad thing. So Bauer's toxic. Araiza has been snubbed, and I just don't agree with it. And then we circle back to where this really all started with Colin Kaepernick. I mean, this was a quality NFL starting quarterback. San Francisco did some amazing things, got to the NFL and succeeded very early, and then started to comment and take public stands on social justice issues in society, police brutality, racism. And all of a sudden, other players, African Americans mostly, started to side with him. And that then led to the whole collective team kneeling down before every NFL game. And it made a very uncomfortable situation. League never took discipline action against Kaepernick. He did nothing wrong except state an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we got to the end of the season and nobody would touch him. He's never had a contract since then. Now, I will tell you his play had deteriorated because of shoulder injuries. I'll tell you he had surgeries, but he went through the rehab. Still nobody touched him. And they were going to try to stage a tryout. And he came in and he felt very leery of the people that were going to stage the tryout. And not very many teams showed up. And he tried to dictate terms of the tryout. Never got an offer ever again. The only team that talked to him was the Baltimore Ravens once. Blackballed.
Mm.
So we got toxic, we got snubbed, we got blackballed. So, John, you don't have any opinions about anything.
No.
Let me just put this at your front door.
Okay.
So how should we judge players? Bauer, Kaepernick, Araiza, 3 really controversial stories. How do you judge them? Why did this wind up this way for those guys? When you consider the multitude of guys out in the league that have been given 7 chances and have done a bunch of really bad things, and yet they'll be in somebody's training camp July 29th, and they'll be on somebody's roster opening day.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times we confuse or conflate legality and morality, and sometimes we think if it's immoral, it should be illegal, and vice versa. So it creates this kind of a fuzzy area when we begin to judge some of these players. I was originally, really hardcore against Trevor Bauer. But with Matt Araiza, I was always giving him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of our social media commenters on the YouTube channel said, well, Trevor Bauer has not been convicted in a court of law. You have a double standard. And I started thinking about it, and I went, they're right to that degree. If it's one thing, if they are not legally charged, if they are not found guilty in a court of law, then they should have all the same freedoms as anyone else. But on a moral level, yeah, I think teams can make decisions on who they want to hire, who they want to sign, because that reflects on the brand and the messaging that those teams put out. In the end, I think that's why Colin Kaepernick didn't get a deal, because NFL teams really wrap themselves in the American flag, and Colin Kaepernick, kind of went against the grain.
But by the same token, the NFL has also picked up the banner that read Black Lives Matter.
They did.
Post George Floyd thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if the NFL is supporting people who have been racially profiled, the man who died, why would they not support Kaepernick?
Yeah, well, I think this goes to the league wide. They'll take a stand. They'll embrace Black Lives Matter, but on an individual team by team basis, no owner wants to have their season ticket holders hit the eject button because they're hiring someone like Kaepernick that some of the fans don't like. And we can debate whether that was right or wrong. Personally, I'm a supporter of Kaepernick and what he was all about. But this is a very conservative country, and a lot of conservative NFL owners, they don't want to go there.
Okay, if you got an opinion, whether you're pro or anti Bauer, Araiza, Kaepernick, join us, message us in Fans Forum. John, before we move